Welcome to our few moments together on the Parsha. This Shabbos, we have the privilege of reading Parshas Toledo. And of course, at the beginning of Parshas Toledo is the famous exchange between Yaakov and Esav, where Esav comes in from the field after a hard day, and as our rabbis have explained, based on the wording of the Pesukim, he has committed a number of very terrible crimes dealing with the physical realities of evil in this world. And Yaakov is making a porridge of soup. And as our Chazal explain, it was in fact the day of the death of Avraham Avinu. And this was the meal of condolence. And Yaakov is making this lechem and nezir adoshim, and Esav comes in and says, I'm so tired, I'm so hungry, give me some of that food that you're making. And Yaakov, of course, says, michra chayom es b'choros chali, sell me today, as if the day is as clear as day, sell me your birthright. Michra chayom es b'choros chali, sell me your birthright. And Esav says, Hinei anochi holech lamus. Behold, I'm going to die. Everyone dies. V'lama zeli b'chora. Why do I need the firstborn blessing of the firstborn? And so the pasuk tells us that Yaakov gave Esav some bread and some of the porridge. Esav took it and with that bought and transferred over to Yaakov the birthright. And the pasuk says, Vayochal, Vayesh, Vayokam, Vayelach. He ate and he drank, he got up and he went. Vayivez Esav es habachora. And he despised the birthright. And the assumption, based on the way the Torah tells us, is that Yaakov now bought, so to speak, the birthright. Now there are so many unbelievably difficult questions about this. Can you sell a birthright? Let's say someone was, for instance, a Levi, and he had a friend who was Yisrael. Could the Levi sell to the Yisrael his rights to be a Levi? Could a Kohen sell to a Yisrael his rights to be a Kohen? You can't sell a spiritual value. So, based on the writings of Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch and others, we have to view what happened over here between Yaakov and Esav with a very practiced eye to the reality of what the Torah is telling us. Esav takes a look around. He sees that what he's done is wrong, and it's based on his belief that the only thing that matters in this world is physical prowess, being the Lord over others in a physical way, taking charge, killing, perhaps, harming, and taking what other people have for his own. While Yaakov recognizes that there's a spiritual world and that the physical world is temporary. You want it? Have it. Take it. You've got the physical world. Will that make you any better? Will you be any happier? Let's think about it, people. Can you really say that one who jettisons the spiritual world of the Torah from his heart and tries to replace it with all the physical pleasures of this world, do they really have a better life? Is it so that those who follow and focus on the physical really have a better life than those who focus on the spiritual? Or is it not the opposite, that the Jewish people who focus almost exclusively on the development of the neshama, of the spiritual, don't they have the best physical life? Think about it. A Shabbos, you can't compare the serenity, peace, tranquility, holiness of the Shabbos with anything that the physical world has to offer, not even a roast turkey, perhaps. not even something that is of great physical value. It's true, we can have that too. We can have good food, and on Shabbos we certainly do, and a l'chaim to boot. But isn't it so that the spiritual world that the Torah gives us, as we buy into the firstborn Bechorah that Yaakov so eagerly was willing to sell all the physical nature in the world for, isn't that really the absolute best, not only spiritual life, but isn't it also the best physical life? Talk to any of the holy Jewish people whose families observe Taras HaMishpacha and stick to the beautiful laws of Jewish family purity. Is it not so that their physical existence easily outweighs and trumps, pardon the current political expression, the other side of the world that seeks only the physical? Isn't it so that the spiritual world that's combined with the physical realities of keeping the Torah weigh far more and give far more meaning and pleasure in this world to those who only focus on the physical, which ultimately Esav recognized ends, all the physical ends. But what remains is the eternity of life of the soul, and that is, of course, the spiritual. And so Esav wanted the physical. He bought the physical and threw away and gave up the spiritual. You can't really sell the kahuna. You can't sell the Leviah, but you can give the blessing of the Jewish birthright, the blessing of a good, full enjoyment in life that comes with the observance of the Shabbos, of saying a bracha, of keeping family purity, of recognition of all the beauty that the Torah has in store for the Jewish people. And we can live and be satisfied and be happy because we've got both. By focusing on the spiritual, we get not only the spiritual, but the physical too. Well, if you focus purely on the physical, you don't have it any better. Do people who only focus on the physical have life any better? Not at all. They're fraught with many of the worst dangers and sicknesses and evils in the world. Of course, you can be normal and have a good life, but the best life is the one that combines the neshama and the guf, the Torah reality, the reality of the soul and the physical. And Yaakov recognized that what's important and what he wants to have for all time is that beautiful spiritual world that the Jewish people have. And so when we come to this Shabbos and we read Parshas Toldos and we realize the exchange between Yaakov and Esav and what we gained from that, so to speak, imaginary sale, although it was real, we realize that we've got the best deal of all because we maintained our dignity, our spirituality, and with that spirituality came the gift of all the physical pleasures in the world that transcend anything that's purely available to those who try to jettison the spiritual nature of the Jewish people. And in fact, when we're going to be Mevorchim Chodesh Kislev, and we're going to think about the upcoming Yom Tov of Chanukah and the light that comes to the Jewish people from the spiritual kindling of our candles, we recognize how great is the buying that Yaakov did by saying, Michrech hayom es bechoros choli. Sell me today your firstborn right to get the blessings of an Abraham, of a Yitzchak, and a Yaakov together to have an eternity of both the spiritual and the physical existence. Great opportunity on Shabbos Mevorchim, Chodesh Kislev. I want to wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom, Umevarach, a wonderful, wonderful Shabbos, and a wonderful, uplifting spiritual Shabbos. And if you enjoy a little herring and a schnapps, that's part of it. Because that's what's really great. The Friday night Shabbos and the Shabbos lunch and the Shalosh Sudas and all the songs and all the gifts that come with the observance of the Shabbos. Kol HaKavod, Klal Yisrael. And we should continue to see only light in the future of the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach.